Today on the UOFanatic Podcast, we will be talking about a couple of my favorite things at the Universal Orlando Resort. We will highlight a legendary attraction in the amazing adventures of Spider-Man, and take a look at Mythos, the signature restaurant at Islands of Adventure.
Hello? This is Jonah Jameson. Roger, over. Is this thing on?
My name is Angus, and I am a UOFanatic. Welcome to the show. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review on your platform of choice by searching UOFanatic, also on YouTube. Follow along and continue the conversation at UOFanaticPod on Twitter as well. Buckle up, everyone. This is going to be a great show. But before we get into today's topics, let's first dive into some theme park news. Let's talk dates. Dates for all this year's events at Universal Orlando. Now, this isn't something that typically has happened in the past, but it all started with a tweet on January 8th in the middle of the day where the Horror Nights ORL, Horror Night Orlando account sent out a tweet that said, "Your nightmares begin August 28th." Which, if you remember from the last episode, was indeed the date I predicted HHN would start. A couple of days later, the full event dates for the year were released. So let's run through them. We already knew that Mardi Gras was February 7th through April 4th, but it's worth mentioning it again. We have Butterbeer season from March 1st to May 31st. This isn't a huge event, but there are basically some additional Butterbeer flavored treats and merchandise and that sort of thing during that time period. There is a grad bash, there's a few grad bash events. These are after hour events for middle school and high school graduates to celebrate graduation. This is for the local Floridians. And these are on April 17th, 18th, 24, and 30. I will caution you that these are days to not go to studios because there's going to be a lot of rebellious teenagers, quite frankly. We also know for sure the dates of Halloween Horror Nights, August 28th through November 1st. Not a surprise there. And the one I got wrong, and I'm glad I did because that means there is an extra very affordable week for you to celebrate the holidays at Universal Orlando. This year they're starting earlier than they did last year at November 14th through January 3rd. As I had mentioned in the previous episodes, these are great events, and other than HHN, remember they are included with your price for admission. There is no extra cost. Universal Orlando also posted a teaser on social media featuring a revving speedometer and the date January 20th, 2026. That will be the day this episode comes out, but let me tell you already that it's going to be the Fast and Furious coaster. Pull one out for all the stands still swearing it will be a Ghostbuster coaster. We have a bunch of ride closures and attractions and, well, for that matter, a restaurant. Revenge of the Mummy is scheduled for refurbishment through January 21st, 26. Finnegan's Bar and Grill is closed already, and it won't open until it's a year-long refurbishment. So sorry, HHN fans. We also have Jurassic Park River Adventure closed until late 26 for major updates. And no, it's not going to be rethemed. Maku and Pui raft rides at Volcano Bay are closed until February 12th. And this upcoming weekend is the Rock the Universe, which is a Christian rock festival. And that is January 23rd and 24th. All right, and now let's dive in to the amazing adventures of Spider-Man. In 1994, Marvel and Universal Studios signed a contract for exclusive theme park rights to the Marvel Universe characters. A full 5 years before The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man opened in Islands of Adventure. Disney bought Marvel years later in 2009. Now, I am not a lawyer, so I won't pretend to be, but I will give you some of the basics here that I feel solid about and my understanding of it all. First of all, it's in perpetuity. That means forever. There are, of course, guardrails in the contract to make sure that Universal isn't misusing them or not keeping them up to snuff, but the guardrails also protect Universal from Disney as well. Basically, as long as Universal keeps up with the land and attractions, then Disney can't cancel the contract. The only way this contract will go away ever is if they were both to agree to terms. Universal has full rights east of the Mississippi, which is why you can see Marvel at Disneyland in California and on its cruise line. But basically, any character being used by Universal in Universal Studios, Florida, I'm sorry, that's technically the theme park. Any character being used in Universal Orlando can't be used by Disney. The Meteor Impact site in Marvel Superhero Island has so many characters depicted. It's a cool graphic to see, and it gives you an idea of the headache Disney has when trying to figure out who they can use and who can't use in their parks. Also noteworthy, Disney can't even use the word Marvel in its theme parks. As an example, it's not Marvel Campus, it's Avengers Campus. So if you are interested in that contract, I will put a couple of links in the show notes. One being the actual contract that you can see on the, official United States government website. And also, I think the best explanation I have ever seen coming from from a blog post on Inside Universal. So again, those will be in the show notes. So let's talk about the vision, the problem, and the solution. Universal Creative wanted to anchor the Marvel Superhero Island with something that it hadn't done before, or something that no one had done before. They wanted a moving 3D attraction that combined real sets and effects with screen technology. And while 3D had been done in many times before, it seems nearly impossible to do it when your attendees are in a moving vehicle. In traditional 3D, these theaters, the audience is stationary. If a viewer in such a theater moves, the 3D perspective shifts, unnaturally causing the image to appear distorted, often looking like a rhombus, or making objects seem to follow the viewer around the room. For a high speed motion ride like Spider Man, this would break the immersion as the 3D images would look wrong from the various angles of the moving vehicle. Universal solved this problem with something that would be termed squinching. Squinching is an image processing technique that stretches or contracts a projected image to fill a frame based on a specific viewing angle. The system computes the exact amount of distortion a rider will experience from a particular angle and then applies the opposite distortion to the film frame. These two distortions cancel each other out, resulting in a crisp, realistic image for the rider. All right, let's move on to some of the logistics. The ride time is about 5 minutes long. I know most of the websites you probably frequent are gonna say 7, but I promise you, time it. The historical wait time, according to ThrillData.com, a wonderful site if you've never looked at it and were ever interested in numbers. The historical average wait time was 29 minutes, but it has reached a recorded maximum of 195 minutes. On days with peak crowd levels, wait times typically range from 54 to 106 minutes. For queues, they do have Express Pass. They have the standard standby line. There's also a single rider line. The single rider line helps keep them optimized at filling the carts to maintain a high capacity. The maximum riders per hour is 2150, with Universal aiming to do 2,000 riders per hour. The attraction size is just pretty large. The ride is housed in a building covering over 2 acres, which is equivalent to roughly 1.5 football fields. Within this space, the scoop vehicle travels through 13 distinct different scenes. Let's talk about the scoop, which is the ride vehicle. The scoop is introduced as a new tool for the Daily Bugle in the story because regular reporters have all fled the city due to the sinister syndicate's attack. Editor-in-Chief J. Jonah Jameson drafts you to use these automated vehicles to gather scoops and photographic evidence of the crime. There are 3 rows of 4 seats for 12 passengers per vehicle, and there is a single lap bar per row. The vehicle is an enhanced motion vehicle, EMV, capable of 6 degrees of freedom, including Heave, sway, surge, yaw, pitch, and roll. It is highly agile, able to perform a complete 360-degree rotation in just 2 seconds. While it's designed to pilot itself automatically, the sources note it does possess a manual override. Let's talk about upgrades, because this has had some. The original attraction received a massive technological and visual overhaul in 2012, where it transitioned from traditional film to 4K digital high definition. While the core story remained the same, nearly every sensory and technical element was enhanced to make the ride feel like a fresh experience. The most significant change was the total reanimation of the ride film rather than a simple upscaling of the original footage. The new animation allowed for much higher levels of detail, such as the characters' comic book costumes shimmering and their muscles rippling in high definition. Background details were sharpened significantly. For example, realistic headlight beams were added to the cars on the street below during the final scene. Specific character designs were modernized, such as giving Dr. Octopus a more contemporary trench coat and adding tiny strings of electricity to Electro's mask. Universal replaced the ride's aging mechanical and projection systems with state-of-the-art hardware. The original film-based projectors were replaced with a digital protection system for a brighter, crisper image. Even the glasses were changed. Next-generation 3D glasses were introduced to eliminate ghosting, an issue where images leak from one eye to the other in older polarized lenses. The physical ride mechanics of the scoop vehicles were updated to ensure smoother synchronization with the new media as well. Because the team reanimated the entire ride, they were able to insert new elements that were not present in the 1999 version. The legendary Marvel creator Stan Lee was inserted into multiple scenes throughout the ride. The attraction received a completely new soundtrack and a modern rendition of the classic Spider-Man theme song for the finale. Let's talk about awards, because it sure won some. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is one of the most decorated attractions in theme park history, most notably winning the Golden Ticket Award for Best Dark Ride for 12 consecutive years, 1999 through 2010. It was widely recognized by critics and fans alike as a benchmark for themed entertainment. I still believe that's valid today. After its 12-year streak was broken by Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey in 2011, it remained highly ranked, placing second from 2011 to 2013 and third in 2014. And now let's talk about the story. The storyline of The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man transforms guests into cub reporters for the Daily Bugle who are caught in the middle of citywide battle between Spider-Man and the sinister Syndicate. As you enter the queue, you enter the Daily Bugle offices in Manhattan, weaving through empty cubicles, a dark room, and a trophy case filled with the publication's awards. Television monitors reveal that the Sinister Syndicate, Dr. Ock, Electro, Hydro Man, Hobgoblin, and Scream have stolen the Statue of Liberty using an experimental anti-gravity gun. Because the regular staff has fled the chaos, J. Jonah Jameson drafts you as a volunteer reporter. You're sent out in a high-tech scoop vehicle to capture photographic evidence of the crime. After donning night vision goggles, your 3D glasses, you depart the loading docks and enter the city. In a Manhattan back alley, Spider-Man jumps onto your vehicle's hood, warning you that you are in for the most dangerous night of your lives. And maybe mine too. You accidentally crash into the Syndicate's warehouse hideout, where Electro attempts to shock the scoop with a sparkling wire, but the vehicle absorbs the energy and knocks him back. Scream swipes at the riders before Doc Ock pulls her away to fire his green anti-gravity ray gun at the scoop. The vehicle spins into the sewers where Hydro Man slams a pipe into the scoop. Back on the surface, Doc Ock bursts through the wall and grabs the vehicle's bumper with a fiery mechanical claw before it breaks loose. Near the river, Hobgoblin attacks with pumpkin bombs, one of which explodes as a massive fireball directly over the guests. I think this is probably one of those moments in this ride where people realize how special this attraction is the first time you've seen it. Doc Ock uses the anti-gravity cannon to lift your scoop to a height of 400 feet into the New York skyline. While Spider-Man tries to pull you back down, Doc Ock disengages the ray, sending the vehicle into a simulated freefall toward the pavement. Just before impact, Spider-Man catches the scoop in a web right above a manhole cover that ironically reads, "Not an exit." Spider-Man webs up the entire syndicate and takes your picture, thanking you for your help. Ironically, this is not really where the picture is taken, but it's actually taken when Electro tries to shock you, so you'll remember that flash. As you pull back into the Daily Bugle, you see J. Jonah Jameson floating against the ceiling of his office, having been caught in his own anti-gravity ray. It wouldn't be a universal attraction if at this point you didn't exit the ride and find yourself in the souvenir Spider-Man shop. I gotta tell you, this was my favorite attraction from its opening in 1999 right up until Velocicoaster. Although when Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure opened, I often flipped back and forth, but it was Velocicoaster that dethroned it. If I did add nostalgia into my rankings, this would still be number one forever. Nothing could touch it. This attraction is a must-do and stands the test of time like no other has. While those with motion sickness issues clearly would have a problem with this attraction, almost everyone else can ride and enjoy it. When I was thinking about this podcast, how it started and ended, I immediately thought of using the Spider-Man attraction audio that you hear. It was an easy choice for me and an attraction I will always hold close to my heart. For the record, in a tier list, absolutely an S tier attraction. Stan Lee, the Marvel legend who co-created the character, has 6 cameos in this attraction. And if you're curious who the other co-creator is, his name is Steve Ditko, who worked alongside Lee to develop the character's visual appearance and iconic costume. Here are the cameos within the attraction. In the queue, he appears in a photograph with J. Jonah Jameson. And in the ride scenes, you can find him as the driver of the trash truck that the scoop vehicle narrowly misses early in the ride. He is seen on the streets in front of a movie theater. He appears in the street at the exact moment Spider-Man breaks the guest fall from the skyscraper. He is visible among the crowd of people celebrating the defeat of the Sinister Syndicate. And then he has an audio cameo where Stanley provides the voice for the unloading instructions and serves as the ride announcer in the refurbished version of this attraction. Following his death in 2018, fans and team members left mementos and flowers, which turned the Peter Parker desk in the queue into a temporary shrine to the Marvel creator. The Amazing Spider-Man will always be one of my favorite attractions of all time. Now let's talk about one of my favorite restaurants of all time. I'm not going to lie, it's with a heavy heart that I decided to feature this restaurant before others in the podcast because I'm terrified this restaurant won't be with us for much longer, as all of the Lost Continent is being rethemed. I figure if not now, then never, so now it is. Mythos is located within Universal Islands of Adventure in Orlando. It is a dining destination known for its distinctive cave-like architecture and Mediterranean-inspired menu. The establishment has historically received high praise and industry awards. Guests highlight attentive staff and beautiful waterfront views, often recommending the venue for special occasions like anniversaries. Overall, it's a visually stunning eatery trying to balance its high-volume theme park setting with its upscale culinary ambitions. Mythos was an opening day venue on May 28, 1999. The restaurant has gained significant industry recognition and notoriously pranked by the fans for being voted the number one theme park restaurant in the world by Theme Park Insider for multiple years, as recently, by the way, as 2022. I don't think a lot of people realize that it actually still happens. As you approach the restaurant, you would first notice the very impressive waterfall coming from the mouth of Zeus carved into the mountainous structure. The structure itself is designed as a cavernous observatory where the Greek gods can view into the mortal realm. If that's not a cool concept, I can't imagine what is. The area behind and around Mythos is not so noticeable from the main path. Make sure you go behind the restaurant before or after your meal and take in the incredible theming. You would never know it's there unless you venture back there. Random stone-lined pathways wind around the lagoon behind the restaurant. There's a bridge where, if you listen carefully, you can hear the trolls sleeping underneath it. On the side entrance, you will find Narcissus looking at his reflection into the lagoon. The backside of the restaurant has Atlas holding up the entire structure. Explore this. It's a beautiful location with spectacular views of the entire park across the lagoon, including the best view of the Mosasaurus roll feature up the Velocicoaster. Inside the restaurant, you're going to find this beautiful large windows facing the lagoon with breathtaking views of the theme park. It wouldn't be obvious as you have to look closely, but as you look around, you can find sirens, mermaids, and even a dragon winding throughout with its head as the open air oven. The operating hours will vary on the closing, but it's open at 11 a.m. for lunch through dinner. The menu rotates seasonally, utilizing the season's fresh ingredients. Most of the key entrees will remain. This menu is Mediterranean, Asian, and American flavor inspired. Let's go over the current menu, starting with the starters, appetizers, and salads. Chef's signature Greek salad for $18. Shredded lettuce, diced tomatoes, red onions, calamita olives, feta crackers, cucumber, herb lemon vinaigrette, and marinated feta. Very tasty. Lamb hummus. This is a seasonal item. It's $17. It's spiced ground lamb, spiced garbanzo, lemon, scallions, chili oil, paprika, crumbled feta, served with warm pita and a lavash. Can be served without lamb and feta to make it vegan. This is a very good appetizer. Spanakopita dip. It's $14. It's a savory blend of spinach, feta cheese, lemon, and fresh herbs, served with hot za'atar, seasoned pita, chips, cucumber, tomato, and olives. And this is vegetarian. The Metza platter for 15, house-made hummus, baba ganoush, marinated fennel, calamita olives, served with charred pita, which is also vegetarian. Mediterranean braised beef flatbread, fresh dough flatbread, spice braised beef tips, halloumi cheese, mozzarella, sumac oil, fresh herb salad, pickled onions, and ajvar. Baked lamb meatballs, $17. Rosemary infused polenta, calamita olives, sweet chili marinara, and mint chimichurri. This is very good, by the way. Semolina crusted calamari, flash fried tender calamari served with the smoked paprika, aioli, and charred lemon. Here's some more salads. After we mentioned the signature Greek, there's also the apple and candied walnut salad, gluten-free, vegetarian, $18, mixed green salad, candied walnuts, pink lady apples, feta cranberries, and a Dijon vinaigrette. Heart of romaine Caesar salad, $16, crisp romaine, cherry tomatoes, charred pita, house-made Caesar dressing, shaved grana padano, and can add souvlaki chicken kebab. Then it'll total up to 22. You can add shrimp up to 25 and salmon up to 28. Let's talk about the current entrees. Pan roasted salmon, $36. This is the chef's signature. I'm not a salmon eater, so I've never had it, but it gets very good praise. It's roasted carrot puree, fingerling potatoes, shiitake mushrooms, baby spinach, crispy shaved asparagus, and macerated red grapes. People rave about it. That's all I can tell you. Souvlaki couscous bowl, $28. Za'atar spiced couscous, fresh cucumbers, marinated artichoke, Kalamata olives, spiced chickpeas, feta cheese, tzatziki, and tahini dressing. This is vegan and vegetarian. It's a very light, great lunch option. I've had this. It's very good. 12-ounce bone-in pork chop, $35. Blue cheese cranberry crust, Dijon roasted fingerling potatoes, roasted Mediterranean spice, tricolor carrots, and natural reduction. This is another highly recommendation. I've had this. Very good. Pad Thai, $31. Rice noodles, mixed vegetables, chicken and shrimp in a mild sweet and sour peanut sauce garnished with a fried wonton. This is vegan. It is a large portion. Beef loin medallions, $34. Served with Yukon potato puree, sauteed haricot verts, radish, watercress, and red wine reduction. This is kind of the go-to. Like, if I don't know what I want, this is probably what I would eat here. Or if you don't have a strong opinion, or if you're have a very, if you're a picky eater, but just like certain very straight American type of food, even though this sounded pretty exotic, it's not. This would be what I would get if I'm in that kind of a mood, or if I was recommending it to someone who's a picky eater. And I'm sure if you've been a fan of the resort, you've heard of this. It's the fork, knife, and spoon grilled cheese. It's a classic 3 cheese sandwich set in a bed of Tuscan tomato soup, topped with crispy pork belly and house-made chips. It's notable for its fork, knife, and spoon presentation style. It's the most popular dish among guests and annual pass holders. This is what if you've heard about this restaurant, this is what you've seen. Very good, pretty affordable, and very popular. Mythos signature lamb burger, $24. Lamb patty, brioche bun, halloumi cheese, pickled red onion, arugula, tzatziki sauce served with French fries. That's $24. Mythos bacon cheeseburger. Here's your burger option. Here's like, I guess if you are the picky eater, this is probably the easiest one to tell you to go get. But it's $22. It's a half pound Creekstone Farms Black Angus beef topped with cheddar cheese, bacon, lettuce, tomato, served with French fries. And you know what? It doesn't cost much more than a quick service, but this is a full service restaurant with air conditioning. So remember that if you're going to go spend $18 for burger and fries for like this sloppy mess, consider going to Mythos if you can get the reservation. So that's the food options. Let's briefly let me tell you they have a very good wine list, a very large one actually. Full bar, some beers, some cocktails, but I'm going to tell you why I always go back to Mythos. And it's from a cocktail they call Potion of the Gods. It is Malibu coconut rum, spiced rum, black raspberry liqueur, orange, cranberry, and pineapple juices with a float of aged rum on top. And then unless you have a cheap bartender, it's a snack-sized portion of maraschino cherries. I love this drink. I can't tell you, this is probably my favorite drink in all of well, ever, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not even my style usually because it is super sweet, but it's super strong. Think of a Long Island iced tea in the end because of you've got all this going on. In that floater of aged rum, I know it's probably not anymore, but it used to be Bacardi 151 before they discontinued it. So this thing would kick your butt. Briefly, let's talk about they have a few desserts. Chocolate vanilla gooey cake. I think this is what they're kind of known for. So it's a flourless chocolate cake with caramel sauce, peanut butter ice cream, and candied bananas. They always have a seasonal creme brulee, but right now it's I think it's a chocolate hazelnut creme brulee right now. It's seasonal. It swaps in and out, but they usually have a creme brulee. They also have a bread pudding, and right now I think it's cinnamon bread pudding topped with vanilla ice cream and caramel. So let's talk about what makes this place special. Sure, if you spend any time in this community, as I said before, you've heard the jokes about the best theme park restaurant, but honestly, in the end, why isn't it? Where else can you get so much theming? It's almost like an entire land themed around this incredible structure, followed by some unique theme park and entree offerings with my favorite drink ever. I think if you consider all of these things combined, you'd be hard pressed to find a better theme park restaurant anywhere. Reservations are strongly recommended, but you don't typically have to do it this far out. But I frequently even do it day of. But if you're in a really busy time, maybe a week out, you want to do it, but you can make reservations by dialing 407-224 food or 407-224-3663 or in the Universal Orlando mobile app. If you just show up at noon, it probably won't go well for you. But if you go there early in the morning, it usually actually works out. If you go there before like say 10 a.m. They usually have the door open. You can walk in there and talk to someone. You could probably get your name in the list, but the app is probably the easiest way to do this of all. Before I finish this off, I just have to say I always wish they had a bar window here where I could just walk up and order a potion of the gods because I just think they're leaving money on the table here. And I can only hope wherever it takes its place in the future, they still pay homage and serve this wonderful cocktail. This is going to do it for today's episode of the UOFanatic podcast. Let me ask you, what is your favorite attraction or what is your favorite restaurant at the Universal Orlando Resort? Because I would love to know. Please comment on Twitter to UOFanaticPod or leave a comment to UOFanatic on YouTube. While we're on the topic, please like and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. I'd also really appreciate if you spread the word about the show or share an episode on social media. I really would appreciate your support. Speaking of support, if you'd like to support the show, please consider allowing me to assist you on your and book your Universal vacation. I'm an authorized Universal Orlando Resort specialist with decades of experience at touring the Universal Orlando Resort. Remember, my services cost nothing to you. absolutely free. I'm paid by Universal Destinations. Hey, I can also help you with your Disney vacations as well. A couple weeks ago, Disney dropped these special deals. I was able to save my clients over $500 on their already paid for vacations. They had no idea, but I saw the deals drop and immediately jump on the phone to get it taken care of. Imagine getting a text from me randomly saying, "Oh, by the way, check your bank account. I just got you a refund." You can find out more at UOFanatic.com, where you can fill out a short form on the right sidebar to let me know how to get in touch with you about your Universal Orlando vacation. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Guess that wraps things up. You guys did all right. But don't give up your day job. Say cheese. See you later.
Congratulations, you're heroes. I knew it all the time.